Hello and welcome to the Golden Sports Report, episode 68. I'm Andy, and today we're going to talk about the Stanley Cup as it begins in the next few minutes. We'll preview that thoroughly as the Rangers and Kings go out early, and then we're going to talk about the Atlantic Division and and what those teams in the Atlantic Division should do going forward. But yeah, I'm Andy.
And I'm Chris.
And I kind of went out of order there, but my mistake. So, Chris, um, what is your, I guess, did you watch Game 7?
No, I had to work. I got to watch a little bit of games 5 and 6, but game 7 I got to work. But I was getting regular updates from my phone, and when I saw that they were going into overtime, I was like, all right, this is where Patty Kane saves the day. He's excellent in game 7s. He's gonna come. He's gonna win. And when I saw that LA scored, I literally fell to the floor in the middle of work, and then I realized I was at work and the floor's gross, so I got up. And then I ran into the freezer because there was people out in the lobby, and I just screamed really, really loud. And I punched a couple walls too when I saw that Chicago lost. Was not happy about it at all. So and it went off a defenseman, which is just even worse. So, yeah, that game 7 was quite the thing.
Yeah, the overtime goal, I watched it. I only watched the overtime for the double deflection. It deflected off of Toffoli's stick and then off of Nick Leddy. And it's like, well, if there was a more fitting way for this series to end, I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
But both teams are better than the Rangers.
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah, and that leads me into my next question because we're gonna, I guess, kind of start talking about that. You're in the mindset that the Kings are better than the Rangers, correct?
Yeah.
What do the Rangers need to do to win the Stanley Cup?
They need to use their speed. They need to use it well. The Rangers have a pretty fast team, whereas LA has a pretty old team. Dustin Brown, he's not super old, but he's up there, and he's not very fast. Mike Richards is old, and he's not fast. Gaborik, who was once the fastest guy in the NHL, he's pretty old now, and he's lost a lot of his speed. And then, they've got their defenders. I don't know if Regeer's playing, but if he does, Regeer's like 35, and he's not going to be able to turn very well. A couple of, besides like Doughty and a couple other guys, while they're good defensemen, they aren't very fast. So if the Rangers players probably skate around them, just use their speed well, and they absolutely need Henrik Lundqvist at 100% Henrik Lundqvist every single game. Lundqvist is the king. He is the best goalie in the NHL. But Jonathan Quick is pretty good too. I'd put him up there maybe. I guess if you really need to put a title on him, like the Prince maybe, because Jonathan Quick is a really good goalie too. But Henrik has that edge, and if he is 100% Henrik Lundqvist, then LA's going to have a tough time scoring. And in that case, then Rangers, all they got to do is put one or two in the net. I don't think there's going to be any huge scoring games. If there are, I don't think it'll come from the Rangers. It'll come from LA just dominating and Henrik being off on his game one of the nights. So yeah, for the Rangers to win, they have to do those things. Otherwise, they're just going to get flatlined by LA.
Yeah, this series is quite lopsided. I haven't remembered a series this lopsided in a long time, and they the Rangers need to use their speed. They need to keep the score low. They cannot get into a shootout with LA. If they try and get into a shootout with LA's third line will dominate. And I know their third line was really well, and I guess that may be almost like, oh, you're riding the line with the most momentum. Not really. You know, Jeff Carter's on their third line. Jeff Carter is a 35, 40 goal scorer in the league, and he's on their third line. They have Kopitar and Gabrick. It's like the Rangers need to keep the score low. They need to play great defensive hockey. Chris Kreider is playing exceptional this playoffs. He has to play up to those standards still. They're young guys like Stepan Brassard. They have to step up. Hagelin has to use his speed. McDonough has to match Doughty in impact in terms of shutting down the other team's top line. McDonough has to be able to play 30 minutes a night and shut that line down. And like you said, Henrik Lundqvist, this is not even close to possible without Henrik Lundqvist playing at 100%. And by that, I mean like those saves he made that went viral. He has to make saves like that on the regular because this is going to be a series that uh, only the best goalies of all time could win. And I don't understand why a lot of people are picking the Rangers in this, but you know, if the Rangers they have a little bit of skill, but you know, like you said, they're young and fast. They're really, besides at center, they're young and fast, with the exception of Richards. But you have St. Louis and Nash; those guys are 30 years old. I think they need to get some legs under them. They're going to have to be able to be fast because that whole team from top to bottom is going to have to speed up. Zuccarello, 28 years old. Guys like that. It's everyone's gonna have to step up. Everyone's gonna have to contribute. This is going to be a long. They're gonna have to make it a long, low-scoring series. Try and eliminate the physical play because LA will just beat them up. Yeah. Who do you think on the rate? Well, with the exception of Lundqvist, who do you think on the Rangers needs to perform like at a really high level to
Um, you know, obviously, like you said, McDonough needs to play on the same level as Doughty would, and a couple of guys from LA, I think it was the coach or something, compared McDonough to like LA's version of Doughty, and it's true. McDonough, he needs to perform just as well as Doughty, if not better, um, which will be difficult because Doughty's amazing. So he's going to have to perform. But I'd also like to see, St. Louis. He needs to perform really well, and Rick Nash needs to decide that he wants to go back to the 50 goal scoring, 90 point a season Rick Nash, or because ever since he went on to New York, Rick Nash has just fallen off. He's not that good anymore, so they need him to perform, or else they need their leaders to perform in this situation, and those would be McDonough, Nash, St. Louis. I don't know. It's yeah. I don't know. That's what I'd say.
yeah. I as I said, and you said McDonough. Trying to think of. Um, funny with Rick Nash. Rick Nash left Columbus as a 50 goal scorer to go to the Rangers, where he has a better opportunity and does worse. And if you look at Gabrick, the same thing happened to him when he left Minnesota. He went to New York. He didn't perform well, and he got traded to LA. And you look at him with LA, and he's doing up to how he did in Minnesota. I don't know. I don't know. New York just doesn't have it going on. Do you have anything you want to say about that at all, or?
Yeah, I think I don't know. I just never really see New York. Like they're a good overall team, but I don't think their team is really made for scoring. Like I've never really seen New York as a high-powered offense. Like when they had Ryan Callahan, the guy's a great player, but he was only getting like tops like 50 points a season, and that's pushing it. You know, he'd maybe score 20 goals a year, get a few assists, but mostly he was, hits and penalty minutes and just being a huge leader on that team. And, Gabrick comes in, Nash comes in, and they all go down in points because I don't think their offense is really built around scoring. I think they're mainly a defensive team, and they go from the goalie out, and they basically just try to protect Lundqvist as much as they can, pretty much. That's how I see it.
That was really insightful. It it makes sense because they have Reiner, who is one of their prized prospects, but he is a two-way player all the way. You're not going to see him score 30, 40 goals in a year, but he's surely going to maybe get 20, maybe 50 points like Callahan and do that. And you look at LA across the ice there, and you see Dustin Brown. And Ryan Callahan and Dustin Brown are eerily similar. Ryan Callahan isn't. Dustin Brown can be dirty, and Ryan Callahan isn't a dirty hockey player, but they pretty much bring the same thing to your hockey team. And Callahan isn't there anymore. I guess like the Rangers won that deal in terms of the now with St. Louis trading Callahan away, trading their captain away. Like you gotta think about that. This team traded their captain away mid-season, just right out of nowhere. Just traded their captain away. Sure, they got a leader in St. Louis, but that's a bold move to make. They sold at the deadline. If you think about it, like St. Louis was only going to Tampa Bay, but they traded the UFA away in Callahan. That's the thing. Um, do you think the Rangers won that deal? Like I know that they made the cup, but do you think it was worth
Ooh.
it giving up your captain
I don't.
first?
What else did they get with St. Louis?
It
Like,
um,
I don't know if they got any draft picks because St. Louis is is a better scorer than Callahan. I know he led the league in points just last year, I want to say, or something like that when we had the latest lockout. St. Louis ended up leading the league in points, and the guy can still score really well. But he's also a lot older than Callahan. I mean, Callahan was pretty much the face of that franchise there, besides Lundqvist. Trading that away unless you've got some draft picks for it as well. A younger player who's going to be a lot around longer than St. Louis is. I don't know if Callahan's going to end up signing with Tampa Bay or not, but if he does, then you know who knows? He could be there for a long time. Whereas St. Louis has maybe 2, 3 years left in him.
it ended up being Callahan and a first because the Rangers made it this far. It became Callahan and a first for St. Louis in a second.
Mm, I guess. I don't know. I'd say Tampa Bay won that because they're yeah. I guess it works in the now for the Rangers, but like you said, but I think it um I'd say Tampa Bay won that because they're getting a first round pick. You know, it's not going to be a very high first round pick because the Rangers always make the playoffs, but you know, still. Plus, they're getting Callahan. I don't know. Yeah, it all depends on if they sign there.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those deals with all those conditions and stuff. I believe there's a condition in the deal if Callahan signs. I don't even think that second round pick going back to New York is even etched in stone. I think Callahan has to resign to get it, which is a lot to give up for St. Louis. In my opinion, it's a tough move to judge only because he was your captain. And, you know, you trade your captain and you get St. Louis, who has boatloads of NHL experience, and he's a cup, he's a winner. He won the cup. And I don't think the Rangers, oh, well, Richards. So Richards and St. Louis, the same cup team, 04 Lightning, they, they're the only guys with cups there. And that's a thing. You know, they looked for leadership in the playoffs and they got it. Callahan's a lot younger, and maybe by that point, when he's 38 years old in the NHL, maybe still, you'll have more, as much, if not more, experience in St. Louis and Richards. So that. I guess I should ask you, how many games do you think this series is going to go, and how do you think you see it playing out?
Um, honestly, I got money on the Rangers winning, but that's because I like to take the underdog. I think LA is going to end up winning in six, but I'm hoping that that's not true. I think I think the Rangers will be able to put up a good fight, but overall, I think LA's just got too good of a team, and I think they're just going to dominate. But I don't know. It's all up to Lundqvist and see if we can get some skates under those guys.
Yeah, I think this series is going to go 5 games. Um, I want to say 6 and I want to say 5. It's in between them both. I guess it depends on if the Kings want to. I feel like the Kings control whether they want to win in New York or in LA. And New York, LA, I referenced this before. Me and Sean had that big argument: who's better, LA or Anaheim? And why LA was better was because of their pure depth at forward and goaltending, of course, but like their depth at forward is just exceptional.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, uh, guys like Gaborik, um, Kopitar, Carter. Come on, Mike Richards is their fourth line center. Like the guy was a 80-point scorer with the Rangers early in his career, and now he's kind of just sitting back with LA, fourth line, 10 minutes a night, playing power play and penalty kill. He's like, oh well, I made it to a cup before in my career. I was the captain of that team. I led him from a 3-0 deficit to win that series. You don't think he had something to do with that this year? I think so. And it's just they have so much experience on this team. Like I know older means experience, but so does just the winning the cup a couple years ago. That's enough. Been here. They've won 3 game sevens on the road to get here. No team in the history of the NHL has done that. And the team shows fatigue, yes, but I don't think this series is going to get long enough where it's going to matter. But I'm taking Kings in five. Um, it, the Rangers can make it low scoring, but the Kings have the guys to score the goals when it's needed. Justin Williams. So all I need to say is that.
Yeah, Justin Williams has been excellent.
He's the Game 7 champion. I guess every Game 7 in his career, he has a point. So
Wow.
maybe like 5 out of like 7, he has a goal. He had 2 points at least. Sunday night, he had a goal in the second and then assisted on the game winner. So just always around when time's on the line. Yeah. Is the game started?
It's about to. They just did some ceremonial drop of a puck, and now it looks like they're about to do an actual puck drop in a minute once they get the carpets back.
Oh my God! All the
Yep.
carpet review.
First line, the lines are out there. Now we're just waiting for the ref to be like, all right, let's do this.
Kopitar and
Who's 28 for them?
oh, Dominic Moore.
Yeah.
Did you
What a
watch that?
surprise. Kopitar won.
Did you watch that thing?
What thing?
That link from the E60 thing?
Oh, no, I haven't. Good job. That's my fault.
Gotta watch that. Uh, it, thing. But that's completely off topic. If you're watching this, E6 Dominic Moore. He's had a rough last couple of years. His wife passed away, and he left hockey for a year. Throughout the lockout year, he didn't play hockey. He thought he couldn't get on the ice anymore without his wife behind him, and the Rangers convinced him to come back this year, and he had a new drive, and it's showing now. He's playing better than he ever has in his career. And I guess it's the feel good story to root for. Like there was Solani with Anaheim, Briere with Montreal. Now it's like, I know the Kings are a lot better, but it'd be nice to see Dominic Moore win one with all his stuff in the world. Um,
Nash looks like he's playing hard.
who?
Nash. He's
Nash?
got, yeah, he just had a couple good scoring chances. Yeah, he had a takeaway right in front of the right at the top of the slot. So didn't score though. But got a whole game. All right.
I just looked something up. So Justin Williams, back to Justin Williams. He has the record for Game 7 goals in a career. Um, an NHL record for points in Game 7s. So, yeah, he has the record for goals and points in Game 7. And he's not that good of a hockey player. He's just like a second line, third line player that kind of just goes when it matters. Okay,
Yeah.
I won't talk about Justin Williams too much anymore. I had a man crush for a moment. All right. We have to talk about the Atlantic Division because we're behind on our. Well, not behind actually. We're just pushing out World Cup talk, which is something that we'd like to avoid if we can, unless comedy is your thing. Then we'll have comedy instead of sports for a couple episodes. But yeah. So Atlantic Division, similar to last episode, we covered the teams and what they need going forward. going into the draft and free agency what they should be looking for. And first four teams we'll do are Boston, Buffalo, Detroit, and Florida. So, Chris, what is your big need to go to
Um, well, I'm going to start with my most hated team in Boston. Honestly, if I was the Boston GM, I would just get rid of all my good guys so we were a terrible team. Not really. I would, because I don't like Boston. But, Boston's pretty much all set. They may not have like a lot of elite forwards coming up through their system, but they've got some really good depth and goal and with prospects. I mean, they've got Tuukka Rask, who's going to be around for a long time, and Tuukka Rask is pretty good. I don't know if I'd say he's a like top tier elite, but he's probably like lower tier elite. Plus, they've got Malcolm Subban, PK's younger brother, coming up through their system. He's supposed to be really good if he works out, and he's supposed to work out. I guess he's looked pretty good so far. They've got a lot of depth at every single forward position. Their centers look pretty good. Like based on the rankings on this site, their prospect talents, 7.5. Their top three prospect centers are all ranked center at 7.5. Whereas looking at the Sabres, the only guy at center who's ranked that high is Mikhail Grigorenko. So if they've got three guys that are as good as Mikhail Grigorenko is supposed to be, then I mean they're fine. Right wing, they're a little bit iffy, but left wing, they're okay. They've actually got a center in their system. He's not supposed to be any good at all, but his name is Ben Sexton. I don't know if there's a relationship there, but he could be a cousin of a cousin, maybe. I don't know, but it could be a thing. They've got, oh goodness, they've got some good defensemen here, but this Maxim Chudinov, don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. They've got him ranked at 7.5, but his probability of success is an F. So apparently he's not doing well at all. Obviously, I do not watch the Boston prospects, but if they've got him ranked at an F, then I would assume that he's playing terribly. Someone's what? Are you watching the game?
I'm not.
Oh, I almost scored. Maybe they did. Hold on, I'm going to check. No. Toronto. I don't care about that. Okay. Next, I would do the next team, but I'm going to skip over that team and go to Detroit, because I'm going to do Sabres last here. Detroit, they've got some pretty good forwards. Their defensemen are okay. Their right wingers look really good based on their talent. If they actually work out, their goaltending, Peter Mrazek, I don't know how to pronounce that, but apparently he's supposed to be pretty good. But I mean, they've got Jimmy Howard. I would rank him similar to Tuukka Rask. I don't know, maybe a little bit lower than Tuukka Rask, but he's still up there. He's going to be their face of their franchise for a while, as long as goaltending goes. But they're Pavel Datsyuk is going to be gone soon. He'll retire in a couple years. Henrik Zetterberg. Well, I think Datsuk's like 34-ish, so he could have 4 or 5 years left in him. Zetterberg's a year older than Datsuk. That's all I know. I'm not sure exactly how old they are, but He'll probably be gone in 3 to 4. But they've got some good guys coming through the system. I know the one guy that I had him on my team. It was excellent. Um, Gustav Nyquist. He's only like 24 years old, and the guy is amazing. He's just phenomenal. He had 48 points this year through 57 games, and this was his first year that at least I've heard of him. Um, I was watching some stuff on like there was some Detroit fans talking, and they were comparing Thomas Tatar to like his rookie years to even that of Pavel Datsyuk. So, if you're there and you're a good young player and you're being taught by Datsyuk and Zetterberg, and even Todd Bertuzzi's okay too. Any forward talents that they have that are supposed to be good are most likely going to work out just because of the leadership that they have there. And I'm pretty sure that Detroit, they've been in the playoffs, 20 years in a row or something crazy like that. So I think they're fine for now. Let's see, we're going to go to the next team here. Florida Panthers. It kind of actually excites me looking at the Florida Panthers, because they've got some good goaltending coming up through. They just got Roberto Luongo. He's okay. He's pretty good. He's Roberto Luongo. So, they've got some good players at like every prospect position here. They've got Alexander Barkov, who is just going to be amazing. He's a tough center. Going to be a good leader there. He won't be the first line center, because that'll be Huberdeau, who would be like their scoring center. They got another Sembo, Rocco Grimaldi, who's supposed to be pretty good. But what they lack is defense. They've got some good defensive positional players up through the system, but they don't have a surefire top defenseman, which excites me because that means they would take Ekblad this year with their #1 pick, which would mean that Sam Reinhart drops to us. I know you said at one point that you'd rather have Sam Bennett, but I don't think I would rather have Sam Bennett, because he couldn't even do a single pull-up at the workouts. So someone who can't do a pull-up, I know it doesn't really do much for hockey, like, oh, you can't do a pull-up, so what? How am I gonna use that? But like, that means that you're pretty weak. Seriously, you can't even lift your own body weight. If you're supposed to be a professional athlete, yeah, you're only 17 or 18 years old. You're not at the peak of your physical ability, but that's still, you couldn't even do one. So that's going to hurt him. I think he's going to drop now, which would leave Sam Reinhart to us, and that'd be amazing. The kid's good. He's going to be excellent. Pair him with Grigorenko, and then maybe next year Connor McDavid. So can you imagine that line, if Grigorenko actually works out to the talent he's supposed to be? Grigorenko would be the worst player on that line. So it would be Grigo, Reinhart, and then Connor McDavid, and that would just be one of the that'd be ridiculous. That would be like if you paired like Stamkos, Crosby, and I don't know, Taves maybe. I don't know where I'm going with that, but yeah. What am I doing? Florida Panthers. Sorry, Andy. Yeah, Florida Panthers, they need some defense. Other than that, they're pretty good. I already went on a little bit of a tangent here on accident, I swear.
Oh, you're excited, and
I
fun.
am. I am excited for the Sabres draft this year, and that's who I'm going to do next. This site, I think they need to update it because Matt Hackett, they have him as our top goalie prospect, and Matt Hackett looks like shit. Honestly, he looks awful. Um, I don't think he's going to work out. I don't think we should sign him back this year because he just looks like garbage. Um, Andrei Makarov has looked pretty good. Linus Olmark, I haven't really. They just signed him to an entry level deal or something like that. I don't know how good he's looked, but I
Very,
know he looked. Wait, what was that?
very good.
So yeah, so he's looked very good. I know Nathan Lewin. I actually got to see him playing the one night that I went to a Sabres game, and that kid, oh god, that kid looked amazing. He was a little stiff and slow, but I mean the kid's like 20 years old going up against. I think we were facing New Jersey, and he was stuffing guys. He was stuffing guys like Patrick Elias and guys who've been around the league a long time, and he was shutting them down. Um, and he's like our fourth-ranked goalie here. Plus, we've got Enroth, who could be our starter this year, depending on how good
Newbert.
Newverth does. Newverth, I don't know. He's good goalie. He's young. He could be good, but I don't know. I guess we'll see with this year. We didn't get to see much of him last year because he got injured so quickly, but I know he did have that one game where he faced like 54 shots and made like 50 saves or something like that, which is pretty great. Sure, he let 4 of them in, but I mean, you're facing 54 shots. What are you going to do about it? Um, but anyways, at center, we're okay at center. Grigorenko, if he works out, we've got Zemgus Girgensson. We've got we got Cody Hodgson. My Hodgson jersey in the background there. Hodgson is a little iffy at center, but if he works out, then then he's going to be great. What else they got at center? They got Johan Larsson. Should be a good third line center, penalty kill guy. I don't like him that much, but everyone else seems to love him for at least a penalty kill guy. So could work out there. We got Yoel Armia, who's supposed to be our best scorers that we've drafted since Thomas Vanek. And Thomas Vanek, sure, you can make the argument that Thomas Vanek just kind of cherry picks and plays like plays an odd way. Trying to censor myself here, but Yoel Armia should be pretty good. I know we played well in the playoffs this year. I think. Pretty sure he played well in the playoffs. Left wing, we're kind of low on. Like after Yoel Armia, our next best guy would be Nick Baptiste, I want to say. Yeah, Nick Baptiste, and he was a third-round guy who wasn't supposed to be that good, but he ended up getting like 85 points in like 65 games this year or something like that down in his system. I think it was 89 actually. So that kid's gonna be amazing. If he keeps playing the way he does, then that kid could be absolutely the steal of that draft in the third round, getting that many points out of him. That's fantastic. Plus, he's taking on a leadership role. I know he's an assistant captain with his team. Hudson Foshing, we got in the. He still got down in college, but we got him in the trade for with LA. He's supposed to be okay. Or I think it was LA. I don't know if it was. Delorier got moved to left wing. He's okay. Carrier, Sintachi, they're eh. But defenseman is where we're pretty much all set. We don't have like We don't have a Drew Doughty or a Duncan Keith or PK Subban or Ryan McDonough. We don't have that top tier number one 30 minutes a night guy who's going to shut down first lines. We don't have that. So if Ekblad wasn't taken at number one and Reinhart was, then I'm not going to complain about us taking Ekblad at the number two position if he's there. Because, we've got Rasmus, we've got Zadorov, we've got McCabe, we've got Pissick, and then even Chad Ruhwedel's pretty good. Chad Ruhwedel went undrafted. So, these guys, they're good. They're really good. Rasmus is supposed to be our top guy. He performed kind of iffy, but he looked pretty good most of the year. Mark Pissick looked okay. Jake McCabe looked really good when he came up. Zadorov, we didn't get to see it all. Hopefully we will next year. Chad Ruhwedel looks solid. And obviously we've got Tyler Myers, who if he works out, I'd actually like to trade Tyler Myers for, you've mentioned Jordan Eberle would be great, or even Jeff Skinner. I know Dylan said Carolina was open to trading Jeff Skinner, and Jeff Skinner would be fantastic. Jeff Skinner is good, and he's young, which is just amazing. So if they're open to trading Jeff Skinner, and we give him a guy like Tyler Myers, where I don't think Tyler Myers is going to prosper in Buffalo. He could, but I don't know if he's going to. So if we trade someone with the amount of talent that Tyler Myers could have, then it's a win-win. We get rid of Tyler Myers. We're still going to have Zadorov and Ristolainen are still really good big defensemen. I was watching Zadorov play the other day on some videos, and the guy's fast, and he's got a good shot. He is very good in the offensive zone, and he hits hard too. So that's always good. I'm excited. I'm ready to go. Let's get this next hockey season going.
Hey, just get excited to lose for Connor McDavid or Jack Eichel.
Even if we don't win, even if we are the worst team, and we still lose the lottery, we're either going to get the next one at the number one overall pick in Connor McDavid, or we're going to get someone who's supposed to be like a Stamkos level player, something like that, at number two. Or even at number three, where there's so much talent in that draft that even at number three, we're still going to get someone super good. Like,
you gotta hope that the Islanders do bad.
Yeah.
Like, even two of the top 4 or 5 picks will be just.
Yeah. Can you imagine if we were the worst team and then the Islanders were the second worst team?
Yeah.
We'd get McDavid and Eichel. Oh, wow. Oof. Got me going. Wow. Yeah, we would. We would be dominant. It would take me. Oh, quick question. If we draft Reinhart or Ekblad this year, would you bring him up and have him try and play in the NHL, or would you do? Because that's what they tried with Grigorenko, and that didn't work. Grigorenko looked like garbage. However, Colorado did it with Nathan MacKinnon, and Nathan MacKinnon prospered. But you saw we did the opposite with Gergensen. We kept Gergensen's down in the AHL for a couple of years, or for a little bit at least, and then brought him up, and he looked amazing this year. Do you think we should keep Reinhart or Ekblad down in the minors, or should we bring him right up?
All right. It's impossible for us to take Ekblad. I'll start off with this. Gergensen's was a special situation because he was older, that we were able to put him down in the AHL right away. Whereas with Ekblad and Reinhart, they're going to be too young to do that. Now, Murray has said already that if they were to draft Ekblad, they would not use him next year. They already said that. They had said that during the season, that if they drafted Ekblad, he would stay in the OHL. Reinhart, the difference between Reinhart and Grigorenko, and this is going to seem fishy because you have McKinnon in here, but the Quebec League is very, like I always say, it's very offensive. But then Reinhardt's from the Western Hockey League, which is the total opposite. It's very physical, it's rough. Like the Western Conference, it just seems that. Western Canada, those players are physical and rough. Jonathan Taves, players like that. So Reinhardt would make it. Reinhardt would be fine. But Ekblad, you're so deep at defense. I don't even like. It would be such a luxury to have Ekblad. And I know you want him, and it's like, well, I would, I'd throw him back down, and I'd let Zadorov play up here next year in that spot. I'd let Zadorov play in it before Ekblad.
Yeah.
Grigorenko, he dropped in the drafts for a reason because people thought his work ethic wasn't there. And through the first 2 years of us having him, I think it's shown why people passed on him. It
Yeah.
wasn't worth it. Even if he turns out he's never, well, unless he's a perennial all-star.
Ranger score
Oh,
on a
no.
breakaway.
Right?
Looks like Pouliot.
What a piece of garbage. Pouliot
Pouliot's looked
sucks.
good this year.
He's playing in place of Carcillo.
No, wasn't he on the line with Zuccarello on that third line? And they've looked pretty good in the playoffs.
Quick should be embarrassed.
Yeah.
Was it a nice move or did he just shoot it past him?
He shot it past him. He was still like good 10, 15 feet away from him quick when he took the shot. So
Maybe it caught him off guard.
yeah, maybe. Mm.
I guess I should probably try and cover these forward moves fast. I'll start with the Sabres. Sabres need wingers. Vanek left. I don't like. Well, Vanek was a good goal scorer, like good goal scorer, really good. But he wasn't good defensively. Reinhart provides you a Taves-esque player, so you get yourself about 80 points there in their prime, 90 points. But I think the Sabres still need that goal scorer. I don't think they're going to get it from Mikkel. And Yol needs another year down in the AHL. So I'm the Sabres. I want top six forward right away. Next, I'll go Boston. Their goalie situation, as Chris said, is really good. Like they let Khudobin go, and Khudobin's gonna go start for Carolina. It's a farm for goalies right now. And I don't know, Boston may not be able to keep him because they don't like black people. So that was the joke on Boston. Your future goalie, franchise goalie, is black. Oh, how can I be racist now? So, no. You said they had really good centers, so I'd imagine I still think they need a goal scoring forward. They don't have that right now. I don't think when you look at them, they don't have that pure goal scorer that you give the puck to and they're going to put it in the net every time. Like
Yeah, no.
Patrice, good two ways. Jerome McGinley is old. Louis Erickson, one more hit and his career is done. So I think they need a goal scorer. Riley Smith may be able to turn into that, but I don't think so.
Yeah, they got rid of Tyler Seguin.
Yeah,
Like
and
Tyler Seguin wasn't working very well down in Boston, but still.
that that deal really worked out for Boston. It did. Detroit. Detroit has the best air quotes prospect right now in all of hockey, in Anthony Mantha. Right now, like McDavid will pass him, but currently drafted Anthony Mantha had like 80 goals in 80 games, or I think 57 goals in 57 games, or something crazy like that. Like he was a goal per game in the Quebec Junior League. So where do I value that? A lot of the guys that lead the Quebec Junior League in points aren't drafted. So, like Mantha was drafted at like 8th overall. So he's a really good hockey player. It's just, you know, nobody's also that league. So that's the thing. Um, Detroit needs to replace Datsuk and Zetterberg. And like you said, Tatar may be able to replace Datsuk in just terms of how he looks right now. But they just need to get younger in a lot of positions. And forward is definitely it. Um, maybe another center because Mantha's a winger. Gustav Nyquist plays center wing, and yeah, I think center is where they should be. And lastly, Florida Ekblad. I think that says it all. Ekblad. Their goalie situation's terrible, but some people don't even think a goalie's gonna go in the first round this year. So they can get a goalie in the second round. But first round, they take Ekblad. So, yeah. And, Chris, the second half of the team, uh, Montreal, Ottawa, Tampa, and Toronto.
Okay.
You'll be good.
Let me open up my links here.
Links for days.
Yeah, tell me about it. We're loading up here. We're going to start with Montreal. Um, Montreal has been looking pretty great. Obviously, they've got PK Subban. He's going to be their top guy defensively for a long time. Prospect-wise, their goaltending is pretty great. They've got this Fukali guy. I don't even know what that is. But apparently he's supposed to be pretty good. Tokarski, what's up?
Next, Martin Brodeur.
Oh, all right. Okay, cool. You got the next Martin Brodeur on your team, then yeah, you're set. I mean, you already got Carey Price, and he was the 5th overall pick in his draft, and so goalies don't get taken that high usually, but Carey Price did, and he's done pretty well. I put him on a similar level to Tuukka Rask. Dustin Tokarski, we saw him when Carey Price went down. He took a couple games. He looked okay. I think they need some better forward depth. They've got, but the problem is they've got good forwards coming through their system. Let me just get to their page real quick here. They've got Max Pacioretty. I mean, Max Pacioretty looked amazing this year. 60 points in 73 games. That's not excellent, but that's pretty good. They've got is Vanek still on their team? Yeah, yeah.
He's a free agent.
He's a free agent, but they could re-sign there because he looked okay. He played okay there. They've got Thomas Plekanec, uh, Myers Eller, and then they've got one of the top prospects coming up right now is in Alex Galchenyuk, however you want to pronounce it, but the kid looks good, and he's a good goal scorer, stuff like that. He had 31 points, and I think this was his rookie year. If not, it was only his second year. So that's all set. They could use, I guess, some better size at forwards. Most of their forwards are actually kind of small. And I guess a little bit better defensively, but they've got some good defensive prospects coming up now, too. They've got a guy who's supposed to be on the level of like our Rasmus Ristolainen, so they're pretty set there in Montreal. We move on to the Ottawa Senators. Ottawa, they've got a lot of good talent there. They've got Bobby Ryan. I don't know how long his contract's for, but they've got him right now. They've got Chris Anderson, and Anderson was the top goalie save percentage wise, I think last season. I want to say. He was supposed to be pretty good, but and they also have what's his name? Hold on, I'll figure it out. They've got Robin Lehner, who is a really good, really young goaltender. He's had some flashes of brilliance. He hasn't looked overall amazing, but he looked pretty good. Defensively, they're in a similar boat to Montreal. They've got Erik Karlsson. I wouldn't say Erik Karlsson is as physical as PK, but he's a better goal scorer. Like this year, Erik Karlsson, how much? He had 20 goals and 54 assists. So 74 points for a defenseman is ridiculous. Clark MacArthur looked pretty good for Ottawa. Obviously, you've got Jason Spezza. Kyle Turris looked pretty good. And it definitely helps that they got Mika Zibanejad. That'd be amazing. Mika Zibanejad is going to be good. Yeah, disappointing. All these teams look pretty good here. We're going to move to Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay probably has the strongest, well, maybe not the strongest, like the most skilled crop of forwards coming up through their system right now. They've got Stamkos, they've got Andre Palat, they've got
Tyler Johnson.
They've got that's who I'm thinking of. Tyler Johnson looked amazing. He was considered for Rookie of the Year this year, but because McKinnon looked so amazing, didn't really work that well. They've got Ryan Callahan, Valtteri Filppula looked pretty good, and then they've also got Nikita Kucherov, who's supposed to be pretty good, and then they've got guys like I'm looking for him here. We don't even have him listed. They took him in the. Oh, this is the wrong one. There it is. Where is it? Oh, Jonathan Drouin. This kid is supposed to be like super, super good. I'm pretty sure he was on a team with Nathan McKinnon when they were in college or in the CHL or wherever league they were in. And they were pretty much similar stat-wise. But I think Tampa Bay kept Drouin down this year. Yeah, this guy, Johnson Drouin's going to be really good. Probably Stamkos level good. So to have two Steve Stamkoses, they're all set there. However, they could use some. Their goaltending's okay. they've got who's their goalie? Ben
Ben
Bishop,
Bishop.
right? Ben Bishop. Ben Bishop looked amazing this year. So you know, under they could use some more depth at the goaltending position, but Ben Bishop was arguably their MVP this year. Um, he played amazing. So that's Tampa Bay. Oh, they could use some defensive prospects as well. They've got what's his face? They've got Victor Hedman, who looked really good this year. Radko Guptas looked okay, but they definitely need some more defensively. And the Maple Leafs, right now, just looking at it, the Maple Leafs need some defensive prospects, or not defensive, goaltending prospects. Let's look over here. Click this button. You know, Bernier looked pretty good. Jonathan Bernier, he's pretty, I don't know how old he is exactly, but I'm pretty sure he's younger, so he should be good. James Reimer looked okay. So they're set for a little bit, but they need some probably some depth at defense at goalie. Defense, they're going to have to replace Dion Phaneuf. Cody Franzen's looked pretty good, but they need some defensive prospects. Um, you know, they could use some winger prospects too. Their centers look okay. Goodness here. They've got Tyler Bozak. They've got Phil Kessel, James Renn, Riemsdyk. Nazem Kadri's looked really well for his few years here up in the NHL. Joffrey Lupul, guys like that. But Toronto, definitely top guys there would be defense and maybe some depth at goalie.
Um, it's 2-1 in the game. Pouliot and Hagelin scored a shorthanded goal, and they went up 2-0. And Kyle Clifford scored for LA, so it's 2-1. Um, Ryan McDonough with an assist, and so Brian Boyle and Jeff Carter. So that's the thing. Just looking at the stats real quick, just to kind of, because I'm not watching the game. LA is up 21 to 9 in hits. So they may be down on the scoreboard, but they're sending a different message. Looks like so. That's the thing. All right, there's your update for now. My little coverage on these four teams: Montreal, Ukali, like I said, next Martin Brodeur. He was picked like top. Oh, I want to say he was the first goalie picked last year, but he was projected to go in the top 10. He was so good. Like they thought Buffalo would take him. They're like Buffalo, take Ukali. When you let Miller go, Ukali will be your franchise goalie. That's how good he is. So he's really good. They're gonna probably lose out on Vanek, so they're gonna have to replace that goal scoring. As it showed in the playoffs, they need goal scoring. They don't have it. Carey Price, quality goalie. Like I said, Kali's no, he is, but they need goal scoring. They need to help the goalies out a little bit. Tokarski in that even played decent, and when you lose 1-0 in Game 6 in a game that you need to win, and you lose 1-0, what does that say? That says your team needs goals. Doesn't have it. And like you said, it needs to get bigger. Gianta, Gomez, Briere, there are two things in common. They're all under 5'10", and they're all over like 35 years old. That's a problem. Like, at least get younger, quick little guys. Like, geez, they need to get younger. Um,
Yeah, like we got Tyler Ennis. He's tiny, but he's young.
yeah, let's trade Tyler Ennis to Montreal. Let's get Bukali. Although, actually, I mentioned this earlier a little bit, but I forgot to mention it. Full. Linus Ullmark led the Swedish Hockey League in goals against average and save percentage this year. He had a 2.07 goals against average and a .29 save percentage at like 20 years old in a league that has a lot of former NHLers in it, and it's a big league to be in a big spot to be in at 20 years old, and he's going to be a good goalie for us. But back to Ottawa. Ottawa needs a goalie. Robert Liner is all right. Actually, at forward they don't need too much. Zibanejad, Spezza. If they let Spezza go, though, there's been rumors that they might try and trade him. They try and trade Spezza. They need a playmaking.
I'll take some Spezza. Trade for Spezza,
Yeah,
trade for Jeff Skinner.
when you say Jeff Skinner, you know who also a good young player that's on the block? Evander Kane.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know who I like more. Like Skinner as a playmaker, but Evander Kane is a
He's
nasty.
he's fast, he's tough, and he's got a great shot. So
It's like, who do I want? Do I want the scoring, uh, top scoring winger, or the playmaking slick center? It's like Kane's doing it on his own in Winnipeg, but Skinner has Eric Stahl. So I guess that's the thing. Tampa needs goalie. Anders Limbach blew it for them in the playoffs. Blew it. They need a goalie pronto. Ben Bishop's been injured his whole career. He's odd. He's tall. He's good, but he's tall and he gets injured a lot. Jonathan Drouin, he was top 5 in points in the Quebec League without McKinnon this year. And yes, last year he did lead the Quebec League in points with McKinnon, but this year, by himself, he's still in the top 5. That says a lot. I think he averaged like 2.3 points per game, which is crazy. So they need goalie. And Toronto, they have, if they choose to keep, they have to choose to keep Bernier or Reimer. Both young, both time develop. Uh, they just need somebody, a playmaker. Like Sam Kadri is a good center, but they need either a playmaking defenseman or a playmaking forward. They need somebody that scores goals and that can create offense. Like Phil Kessel is by himself. They need somebody that can just get the puck and put the puck on a string and just be dominant. They don't have a dominant player besides Kessel, and it shows. Without any goaltending, you can't score any goals. There's nothing there. Nothing there. So that's the thing. I believe I forgot mine. All right, all right. I guess. It's time for our final words. All right, all right. Final word. Chris,
final word time. Want me to go
let me
first?
know. I assume it's not named. You get to go first. Yeah.
Not NASCAR. Well, if yours is NASCAR, then we do not have the same thing planned here. I got a couple things here. NHL, I'm gonna do first, then I'm gonna do some NFL stuff. Maybe one of them. I have three things. Three, maybe. Yeah, three. Um, Commissioner Bettman of the NHL Hockey League has decided to give back the New Jersey Devils' 11th pick this season. Yeah, because the New Jersey Devils have a new owner, Um, he is going to give back their pick. They're going to drop from the 30th pick automatically that was given to them because of the Ilya Kovalchuk mix-up, and they are going to give them back the 11th pick because why punish the new owners? Because that was the old owner's mistake. Yeah. So, yeah, New Jersey fans are probably happy, but that's bullshit.
But but think about this. Wouldn't you be pissed because you would have had your name in the lottery?
Yeah,
Like they should have to redo the lottery.
they should.
No,
And then Buffalo gets the number 1 pick.
that's pretty biased to say to redo the lottery. But hey, if I was a New Jersey fan, I'd still be pissed because you lost out on the lottery. Then
Yeah.
again, you made off with some BS thing. Oh well, new owners, let's give them a
Yeah,
fucking.
you moved up 19 picks in the draft. Let's calm down there, greedy person. Yeah, that's a thing. Um, he said that had there not been new owners, he wouldn't have even thought about it. Um, the next thing is the NFL has decided that for the Super Bowl 50, they will not use the Roman numeral L. They're going to take 1 year off of using Roman numerals for Super Bowl 50, and they're just going to use the number 50. Just for the 1 year. I guess they just want to have a big 50 up on the screen, make it all fancy looking and stuff. Um, that won't be till 2016, so got a couple more years for us to see that. And then the third thing I'm going to talk about here is I'm going to keep my tradition going of talking about football players getting arrested. Today, I'm going to talk about Marcel Darius, the Buffalo Bills defensive tackle, one of our best defensive players. He shined last year. I can't find the story for it here, but yeah, he was arrested. He got in trouble like a month ago for something he did down in Alabama, and he comes back up here and he drag races with defensive teammate Jerry Hughes, and they only know it was Jerry Hughes because I imagine Marcel told them. But Marcel crashed into a tree, did a bunch of property damage, and then drove away. And he got caught. Like, what are you doing? That's illegal. You can't do those things, first of all. Second of all, you're an idiot. Third of all, screw you, because now the Bills' defense is going to suck this year because we're probably going to have you suspended, and Jerry Hughes will probably be suspended as well. At least for a couple games. Marcel needs. Hmm. He's facing multiple charges, mostly, you know, just illegal street racing charges, stuff like that, property damage. But I'll keep you guys up to date on it as much as I can. But yeah,
Football players getting arrested. That sounds like a new thing that you should like you're keeping the streak going. Maybe you should start looking for that. Be like your final word niche. Football players getting arrested. Because you'll always find it. There's Never. They just are like, ooh, look at, I have millions of dollars. Let me just go drag race.
Yeah, they're like, oh, I have monies, and this is my city. Who's gonna arrest me? Like,
Did you read like the setting of which he of what when and where they did it?
no.
All right. Know the McKinley Mall?
Yeah.
They raced from it must have been their throughway like entrance, that light, towards like Orchard Park and the McKinley Mall at 3:15 in the afternoon. Drag raced past Home Depot and BJ's and all that, the Toys R Us, and somehow when he did the property damage, Darius went off the road and hit the tree right in front of the door of the Mongolian buffet. Like at 3:15 p.m. Like middle of the day they were drag racing, and that's not like a place where nobody drives. That's a popular place where people drive during the afternoon. How the hell
Yeah.
do you drag race down there?
How do you, how, there's so many cars there. How do you? They must have been going on the wrong side of the road a couple times and blowing through red lights. How do you
Yeah,
do that?
like there's like four or five red lights there. How do you go through all those red lights without fucking getting stopped? Like or at least having a slow car in front of you to the
Yeah.
point where drag racing is over after 5 feet. Like
Yeah. That's stupid.
I can't believe like I thought originally because they said mile strip, I thought it was like okay around the Ford plant they raced to like the light at Blaisdell. Like I figured maybe they raced towards that way, like that portion, because a lot of people have done that before. But where they did it didn't make any sense. I don't know. That was kind of my two bits on it. And my final word is NASCAR. Jimmy Johnson won last week, and he's a driver that I don't like to have win because now he's won two in a row. Now he has all the momentum. His team's on fire, and he's going to win four or five more. And the seventh championship's in the bag. Excuse me, it's in the bag, and I'm disappointed. So I don't even want to talk about that race. He said he had the best car he ever had there, and that was his 10th win there. Nobody's won more than him there. And he's like, well, I had the best car I've ever had. Well, shit, they're even getting better. Like, damn it. So this week they race at Pocono. You want to say something, Chris?
No, you're good.
No. This week they're racing at Pocono, and last year the winner of this race was Jimmy Johnson. So this is a thing that I really hope doesn't happen. Um,
Why don't you like Jimmy Johnson?
it's just he wins all the time. I'm getting kind of just it's like it's one of those things where they're so good that you hate them because like you are so good you can't do anything wrong. Like everyone was like, "Uh-oh, they went 11 races without a win this year." And everyone's like, "Oh no, are they not getting the new setups right and all this?" And then they're like, "Oh no, don't worry about us." And they go win two races in a row and they're like, we're better than we've ever been."
Yeah. Kind of like why I hate Timmy Brady. He's so good. Gotta hate him.
It's just it is what it is. But this racetrack this week is a triangle. It's not a circle. It's a triangle. It has three turns. Pocono. It's a 400-mile race, and they've only raced it 400 miles two times. It used to be 500 miles, but it got too boring. Um, Qualifying speeds is around 180 miles an hour. because the front straightaway is the longest straightaway in the three major auto racing series, NASCAR, Formula One, and IndyCar. Pocono has the longest straightaway out of all three of those series. It's like a mile long by itself. So
I was just watching some of this game here. Ryan McDonough's looking really good. He's broke up Tyler Toffoli, almost had a nice looking breakaway. Broke that up.
damn it, I wanted him so bad. I was like, oh, Molson to LA, let's try and get Tyler Toffoli. And
Yeah,
they were like, no, we're not giving you Tyler Toffoli. And I was disappointed.
that would have been excellent.
He's so good. Trying to finish this up, race speeds at 140 miles an hour. Um, they don't have all-time winners here, but I imagine Jimmy Johnson is it. So, sigh. Nothing interesting really going on this weekend in NASCAR besides that. So yeah, I think next week they race at a road course. They race at Sonoma, California, which is great. I love road courses. Road courses are wonderful because there's a handful of drivers in the series that only do good there, and it's just interesting to see guys that literally make a living off of not driving in a circle but driving on these road courses that all of a sudden win, and their dream is to win in NASCAR, but this is like their only opportunity. So a little bit of a preview of my final word next week. So yeah, we had viewers all episode. We had two. We had one. Thank you for watching the whole thing. I know it's been a long episode, and rarely do we have someone want to watch the whole hour, and it's nice of you to do that. And please leave a comment if you have any opinions on what we could have done differently. Um, any comment regarding the series, the game as it is right now. Next episode, we'll talk about the games that occurred, um, stuff like that. If you have any opinions on the teams we talked about, I figure the Sabres, you might have an opinion on the Sabres, and yeah, I said a lot of ums there. So, like, comment, favorite, subscribe, and yeah. So, thanks for watching. This was the Golden Sports Report, episode 68.
68.
Bye.
Peace out.